Part 3. A Politics Quick Sheet. Everything is political. I don't mean that in the get-out-and-vote way, but in the sense that every action and decision we make bumps up against the actions, decisions, and motivations of others. It doesn't surprise me that NFTs have become political. All new technology does. What surprises me is how left-right polarizing they have become, and even more so that the anti-NFT camp skews decidedly left in the comics community. The underlying technology itself could just as easily be used as the beachhead for universal basic income and capital redistribution as it has become the face of financial excess. At its core, NFTs are political system agnostic. The sides of the NFT debate should simply be, NFTs make me happy, or NFTs are not my thing. If someone comes after you about your comic NFTs, my advice is to just let it be. Maybe deflect them to this book. There really isn't anything to be gained by trying to convince them they are wrong. The people committed to their I Hate NFTs banner are often intensely committed to it. Instead, the most productive use of your time is to build your NFT audience among those who have not picked a side or who are already in the space. And for the love of Stan Lee, don't go picking fights with comic industry peers in the anti-NFT camp. In the end, we as comic creators should be lifting each other up, not attacking our own. If on the off chance you aren't the kind of person who can let things drop easily, the following are rebuttals that may help you limit your interaction to a one-liner. Just know, these comebacks aren't likely to make matters any less tense. Use them at your own peril. Objection number 1. Because billionaires. Response: you should be an artist Robin Hood. Every extravagant purchase is someone else's windfall sale, and not since the age of patronage has there ever been a more direct transfer of wealth from the rich to artists. 4 out of 5 of the most expensive NFTs are held by the crypto rich. In that context, being anti-NFT is akin to yelling, "Keep your money! Go buy another yacht! Don't you have some island to buy?" It seems more than a tad counterproductive from a wealth redistribution point of view. Instead, release your inner artist Robin Hood. The more skeptical you are about the intrinsic value of NFTs, the more this potential should fill you with glee. A creator may never have a better opportunity in history to legally steal from the 0.1%. Objection number 2. Because capitalism. Response: if you are selling anything comics-related, this is a difficult position to hold. If you own a creative business, i.e. if your work is your work, not the government's or a collective's, by definition you are engaging in capitalism. That said, if a person is using capitalism as a bugaboo word to criticize the excess of high-value NFT sales, that's a defensible position to hold. However, the presence of ethical creators in the NFT space offering fair value NFTs would help fight back against this, not make it worse. I personally find the hyper-capitalism argument particularly exasperating because, used properly and within an appropriate regulatory framework, I believe NFT tech could be used to implement a system that distributes IP revenue to creators in an equitable and efficient way. Even in its current form, comic NFTs offer a way for creators to skip tech behemoths like Amazon's Comixology and still make tangible revenue from their digital work. With a few adjustments to securities laws, NFTs could make revenue sharing among all creators who have ever contributed to a particular IP trivial and virtually automatic. Objection number 3. Because the only purpose of NFTs is to sell crypto. Response: that's a half-truth. It's like claiming automatic transmissions were invented to sell cars. The premise of the argument is that NFTs are solely there to sell cryptocurrency, allowing cryptocurrency-rich holders to convert their funny internet money into fiat dollars, for example US dollars, by exploiting the gullible. To be competitive with other blockchain projects, there's been a scramble by developers of the various chains to offer support for NFT creation and sales. However, this is no different than adding a better camera to a smartphone or adding an automatic transmission to a car. The blockchain projects that offer the best tools do better. It is a natural consequence, not a sinister plot, that the original inventors who hold more of the underlying cryptocurrency will benefit the most. But so does anyone else holding the token from the underlying blockchain in question. Taking the Ethereum blockchain as an example, there are roughly 200 million wallets in play held by millions of individual users. If the price goes up, all of those people benefit. When you look at the list of accounts that hold the most ETH, It is hard to imagine that "let's make NFTs so we can cash out" was even a fleeting consideration. Most of the top accounts are held by the crypto trading platforms and the equivalent of banks who actually benefit if people keep their cryptocurrency as cryptocurrency. This would be the same for all the blockchains hosting NFTs. Objection number 4. Because criminals. Technically true, but do you still use your cell phone? Sadly, almost every NFT buyer has at some point been the target of a scammer. When you have an NFT, it is publicly available knowledge that you have something of value. That puts your wallet in the crosshairs of black hat cyber teens, Russian hacker factories, North Korean government-sanctioned attackers, and even a Nigerian prince or two. It's just a matter of time before someone tries to steal your NFTs or crypto. The more valuable, the more likely. It's actually amazing it doesn't happen more than it does. Fortunately, the same transparency that makes a theft likely also makes the theft trackable. Ask Seth Green. At this moment in time, if you use a hardware wallet, practice good wallet hygiene, mint new NFTs from a minting wallet, and don't click on any links you don't know, you're pretty safe. This echoes the same way most people don't actively back up their hard drives until they have experienced a crash that hurts. It's almost a rite of passage to lose an NFT to a scammer at some point. In my case, I made the mistake of trying to mint a particular NFT before I had my morning coffee. My groggy brain missed the fact that the site at the top of my Google search had one letter off in its domain name. When I clicked the mint button on this fake site, I accidentally gave the hackers permission to take everything in that crypto wallet. My losses only amounted to about $100, but the result could have been a lot worse. It was a painful lesson that made me more vigilant. So is the fact that there are scammers in the NFT space a good reason not to create comic NFTs? Not unless you also believe that using a cell phone in your business or using gift cards is a mistake. As a case in point, I can take a screenshot of my recent phone calls and it will almost always look something like the one in the book. One of the blurred out messages on that image is a call to my dad. The other is a sales call from my banker. All of the others are from scam callers. An unfortunate side effect of being old as dirt and having the same phone number since the last millennium. If I shied away from technology because of scammers, I wouldn't have a cell phone. Similarly, if you have ever watched any of the scammer payback videos on YouTube, you'll see that targeting gift cards or fooling users into handing over their online banking passwords are preferred ways to steal other people's funds. However, I still use gift cards and certainly use online banking. If you'll allow me to wax personal here, in a world where NFTs are always going to be a thing, and trust me, they are, having law-abiding, conscientious creators shun the space makes matters worse, not better. It has the potential to make the NFT space is full of criminals a self-fulfilling prophecy. The NFT world will be a lot better for your presence in it. A politics quick sheet. Objection number 5. Because ick. Crypto. Response. Then don't have your customers pay with crypto. As discussed earlier, all cryptocurrencies use blockchain technology, but not all blockchain applications require customers to use or even understand cryptocurrency. One of the pioneering NFT collectibles, NBA Top Shot, started with credit card-only purchases and has only recently added the ability to buy moments with cryptocurrency. DC's Bat Cowl collection was also only made available using US dollars via credit card. If cryptocurrency is not your thing, simply don't accept crypto as payment for your comic NFTs. But speaking of cryptocurrency, if you'll allow me to go off topic here for a moment, one of the most exasperating persistent messages about crypto is that it is only used by criminals and tax evaders. High-profile news stories like the Colonial Pipeline ransomware case, fictional plot lines around crypto-funded terrorist cells, and the ramblings of ill-informed politicians do nothing to change this stereotype. The 2021 Reuters headline reads, "Cryptocurrency-based crime hits all-time high in value," which is a way sexier attention grabber than illicit transaction activity reaches all-time low in share of cryptocurrency activity. Both of these facts are true and come from the same chain analysis report. Transactions involving illicit addresses represent just 0.15% of cryptocurrency transaction volume. The increase in the overall total is a reflection of increased cryptocurrency adoption worldwide. The characterization of crypto as a haven for criminals is particularly ironic given the lack of outcry about cash. By one estimate, more than a third of all physical U.S. currency in circulation is unaccounted for, much being used by criminals and tax cheats in the underground economy. In real value, crypto wallets associated with illicit transactions pulled in $14 billion in 2021. In the same year, banks paid out $10 billion just in fines for money laundering. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime states the estimated amount of money laundered globally in 1 year is 2 to 5% of global GDP, or $800 billion to $2 trillion in current US dollars. Due to the clandestine nature of money laundering, it is, however, difficult to estimate the total amount of money that goes through the laundering cycle. Can we do better in the cryptosphere? Yes. Is it the pirate haven of evildoers and miscreants? No. But myths are hard to change. The Justice Department's seizure of ransom paid by Colonial Pipeline to hackers shows that cryptocurrency may not be that untraceable after all, just doesn't have the right zing. As stated above, if you are worried about being associated with negative crypto messaging, simply don't offer cryptocurrency as a payment option for your NFTs. It's slightly more complicated, but it is doable. Objections subset. Ick, Bitcoin. Response. Bitcoin is as relevant to traditional NFT sales as the Argentine peso is to English-only print comics. Bitcoin does not have integrated smart contract abilities, so it cannot be used to host traditional NFTs, period. If you're talking about ordinals, see the next quick sheet. The only real intersection Bitcoin has with NFTs is as one of a whole host of potential currencies used to pay for them. I don't have specific stats for this yet, but I believe this would be less common than people might think, as Bitcoin is generally used more as liquid collateral these days than as a payment currency. In much of the world, it would be like buying an NFT with gold or a room in your house. It's not impossible, it's just that there are far better options. Most NFT sales typically happen using the native cryptocurrency of the chain hosting the NFT, for example Wax, Polygon, or Ether, a US-denominated stablecoin like USDC, or without cryptocurrency at all via a credit card. Beyond payments, there are a couple of other tangential connections. The Stacks blockchain supports smart contracts and NFTs by essentially recycling the energy of Bitcoin transactions to make its chain secure. STX uses a super unique and innovative consensus mechanism called proof of transfer, POX, that frankly makes my brain hurt trying to understand it. There is also a Bitcoin sidechain called Liquid that is related to Bitcoin in a way similar to how Polygon is related to Ethereum. For purposes of our discussion, though, it is enough to know that these Bitcoin-adjacent chains are not the same as Bitcoin and are still tiny players in the NFT space at that. Objection subset. Ick, Bitcoin ordinals. But if you're talking about Bitcoin ordinals, they're not great for comics distribution. If you have any concerns like I do, I'd just stay away from them. Shortly after I released the first edition of this book, a way to create digital collectibles on the Bitcoin blockchain became available. Ordinals are analogous to NFTs, but have some key differences that you can explore in the articles linked in the glossary. I'm unaware of any comic IP-related digital collectibles being minted as ordinals. While technically possible, the high cost of minting large files as ordinals is a major stumbling block to this ever becoming a widespread phenomena. Moreover, doing so will, fairly or unfairly, entangle the creator in the debate over the environmental concerns associated with the energy-intensive Bitcoin blockchain. Even Bitcoin maximalists have expressed concerns about this tangential use of a chain designed to be a borderless digital gold. These concerns are not issues with traditional NFTs minted on carbon-neutral chains. Objection number 6. Because if you sell an NFT, it was never about the art. Response: isn't this like saying, if you sell the art you draw, it was never about the art? Besides being a tad elitist, this point of view does not acknowledge that there may be several reasons an NFT holder might sell it again. For example, financial hardship, they were gifted a duplicate, they no longer enjoy the subject material because it makes them think of someone they lost, etc. But more to the point, the entire comics industry is propped up by collectors, many of whom pay to lock their comics in plastic to preserve the value of the collectible so that they can one day resell it. To say those collectors don't love comics is simply not true. NFT buyers and sellers are being held to a different standard, and I believe this is objectively unfair.